Good everyone, welcome to the show. Thane Kirby with the mighty Martyn Bradbury tonight. Off the back of the Ratepayers Association.
Auckland Mayoral election debate.
Yeah. And I got to be honest, I watched the whole thing. It was gripping. I was first listening on the platform, but I like the idea of the platform, but the sound quality is not great. So then I went on to the daily blog and watched it there, and then it started to go, and then once I went on my computer instead of my phone to watch it, it worked perfectly. But anyways, I watched the whole thing.
Good.
Mesmerised.
Gripping, wasn't it? Gripping. Drama. The drama.
You did a very good job, and so did Farah. Damien did a great job as well. My top line stuff was, I'm sorry, I'm in bed, so.
You take your time. You take your time.
My top line stuff was, Wayne looks sleepy, doesn't answer any questions really, but when he does, he really does. Collins, Efeso tells you what you want to hear, gives you all the facts and figures, but they're not the most popular answers. And Craig kind of like shoots from the hips. Boy, he hates your mate David, doesn't he?
Oh, he hates Damien. Hates him. So much fun. So much drama.
So much drama. And the way that you let Simon Wilson get some questions in, you could just see old Wayne like, oh, here we go. You know, it was really good to see. But some great questions. What was how many people were there? We didn't get to see any crowd shots.
It was weird. About 150 people actually in the hall itself. Yeah. So it was packed for the hall. And we had thousands watching it online.
Yeah, man, because it started crashing if you're on a phone. You needed to have...
it was just a huge amount of data. Huge.
Absolutely huge. Oh, boy, this is great. I enjoyed it because I think your offside did a great job holding people, just stoking the fires, and the crowd having a chance to ask some questions as well.
Totally.
It was really, really good. Who do you think won? In your opinion, who came out? Like, I've got my voting papers that arrived yesterday.
Yep.
I tore it all open, ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm still undecided.
Right. And people, I think, what was interesting about the poll that was released was that 45% still don't know who they're going to be voting for. And I think the reality is the vast majority of Auckland haven't seen these candidates. I mean, people have turned up. People have seen some of the debates, but that's a tiny fraction of the total people in Auckland. So I think that most people who are in the undecided category are waiting till the TV debates to make their decision. They're waiting to see the candidates actually perform. And I think that's problematic for Wayne Brown. He's the technocratic king, no question about it. The guy has done some remarkable work in his past. But his advertising on ZB, and that's pretty much primarily where he's spending his money, ZB advertising. It's very slick, it's very clever, it's very good. But then you see him in person, and he's a lot more sleepy. He's a lot slower. He's a lot more sort of, he doesn't answer the question exactly. He kind of meanders a bit like Joe Biden. And I think that the more people who see them together in debates, the more people go, ooh, because that kind of feels like Manana. When Manana's drifting, I don't want Manana running council. So I think the problem for Wayne is the difference between his advertising, which he's selling, and then when he's actually out there doing it, there's quite a difference. He's also got a very poor social media game. It makes it very difficult to reach out to voters if you've got a really, really, really small social media game. The polling, he's ahead by 2 points at the moment, and he'd probably be wanting to be a little bit more ahead of Efeso than that. Because remember, Leo Malloy was in the last poll. He's not in this poll now. Leo 14.5. Leo said all of his votes should go to Wayne. It didn't. So he's 2 points ahead. It's going to be hard graft now. The problem, I think, for Wayne is he doesn't have that much of a ground game. This is where Efeso does have a ground game. But then you can't rule out Craig Lord either. I mean, there's a support base.
I got to butt in and say I think Craig Lord is going to be pretty happy with his performance tonight.
Right. He was really, really good tonight.
He's a crowd pleaser. He's throwing the answers, and he was getting a lot of shit from your offsider there about running companies and having a management role.
He certainly did.
But kind of put his views across.
So yeah, he fired back. No holds barred. And that's the beauty of the debate process that we do with the working group. It's all adults. We all know where the lines are. If you can make the call, you make the call. I think people are too frightened to actually answer questions or ask them properly these days. So yeah, it was a great debate in that real questions were asked, and people got to judge for themselves whether or not the questions were answered.
How far after do we get the results? Like, I know the 8th of October it all cuts off. Is that like polling night? They count it all and give you they hear all of that.
Oh yeah. So they'll have on the Saturday. My guess is they'll have 50% of the vote counted by midday. So you'll start getting provisional results then on the actual day itself. And I would guess voting will all be. We should have a result by. I would be really surprised if we didn't have a result by 7 p.m.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. What does Craig Lord need to do to get ahead? I mean, Wayne is buying his way into this campaign, which is kind of like smart. He can back it up with his CV, but he just looked very tired tonight. I think we kept him up a little too long. He ran maybe about an hour over.
Right. I mean, he probably had dinner at 4:30. So ready for a nap. Look, what Craig Lord needs to do is he needs to actually appeal to that eclectic electorate that Leo Molloy brought to this campaign, that 14.5% of angry Auckland who don't see what's going on as progress, who feel that their lives are going backwards and the city is shit. And Leo connected with those voters. They're voters who just wouldn't normally have voted before. I think Craig needs to appeal directly to that Leo Molloy electorate, and he needs to talk directly to that electorate, and he's going to say, I'm your new Leo Molloy. That's his last chance.
Thoughts on Leo Molloy tonight? Did you see him? Did you shake his hand?
No. It was great to see him up the front, sitting there and watching the debate. I would put an enormous amount of money on the table to say that Leo Molloy regrets coming out. Oh shit. He regrets coming out of the electorate very, very much. I think he's very upset.
You've had Leo Molloy at a debate before. How does he go against the other people on there?
Oh, he's just a bulldozer. He just gets in there, insults everyone, has a go at them, gets stuck in. Then he's just the crowds love him, absolutely love him.
Yeah, Efeso has got to spend a lot of time in council. A lot of things haven't changed. A lot of people brought up they're culling trees for a total cost of $18 million, and then they're replanting trees with a total cost of $3 million. There's judabars in the wrong places and stuff like that. And also the consultation period when it comes to council and the people is shit. Have we given him a chance? He's been there. He's been in the public purse there, and nothing's really. He's not achieved anything. Why would he make a great mayor?
I wouldn't rule it that way. I mean, you've got to work with people on council to get things across. You've got to have a mayor who's got the vision to try those things. I don't think painting Fess with all the problems that you've had with the council to date is a fair thing. He's got the experience. During COVID, he was an important and vital voice for South Auckland in keeping them and looking after them. He's got the vision. He's got the mana. And I think that more people who see him in debates, and the more they see him, particularly the TV debates, that's where he's got the chance to hold this. It's going to be a really, really fine run thing. I think it's between Wayne, it's between Efeso, but you can't count out a weird result with Craig Lord maybe coming through the middle.
45% undecided. I mean, there's a lot of appetite. There's a lot of meat in there.
Right. There's so much to play for.
Yeah. So Wayne, obviously Wayne I thought Wayne did actually have a good night tonight. He didn't answer a lot of questions directly, and he always leaned on the railroad numbers. That was his answer to everything. But it wasn't too bad.
Oh no! Look, I mean, everyone had a good day at the office.
Mm.
The issue is, how do they perform in the TV debates coming up? How do they perform in those big Radio New Zealand debates? How do they perform over the next couple of weeks? And who's got the actual army to make sure that there is pressure and momentum for people to send in their voting forms? Those voting forms, remember, only 35% of Auckland voted last election. 35, not even half. We couldn't even get half of the city voting for the mayor, for Christ's sake. So we're either going to have an incredibly low turnout, or the experience of COVID, which touched everyone, brought politics into people's lives in a way that they normally wouldn't have had. So I think maybe we might see a very high turnout. We could get a larger turnout than last election. And I think that will be driven by people feeling quite angry about politics and wanting to have a say.
Do you think these guys are being coached for these debates and what have you? Or are they all kind of like shooting off the hip? Do you know?
I think Craig Lord's probably shooting off the hip, but I would be very surprised if Wayne Brown and Efeso Collins aren't being coached for those big debates. I'd be really surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Wow, this is going to be so interesting. Have you received your what's the name yet? Your papers?
My paper. Yeah. You've got the papers.
Excellent. All right. Well, mate, thank you very much. Well, it was a very exciting live debate. I really enjoyed it. I think you did. Your whole team did a great job. And we're just going to keep it nice and short there. Good luck. Get out there and vote. You've only got till what? October 8th?
Yes, to get it in.
All right. Thanks, matey.